Prepare for a deep dive into a story of chrome, steel, and the American dream. It was a symbol of American confidence, cast in steel and chrome. It was big, it was loud, and it was unapologetically proud. This is the story of the 1952 Muntz Jet. Picture this. The sun is setting, casting a golden hue over the streets, and there, parked at the drive-in, is a car that turns heads and stops hearts. The Muntz Jet, with its sleek lines and bold stance, was more than just a vehicle. It was a statement, a dream, and for many, a memory that still brings a smile. If you were around back then, you might remember the first time you laid eyes on this magnificent machine. With its unique fiberglass top that could be removed to let the breeze flow through, it was a marvel of engineering, a glimpse into a future that promised freedom and style. The moment you stepped inside, you were enveloped by luxury. The dashboard inspired by aircraft design, the plush interior inviting you to take a long drive with the windows down. You could almost hear the echoes of your favorite tunes playing in the background, the sounds of an era when rock and roll reigned supreme and the open road was calling. Now let's talk about the stats of a legend. The 1952 Muntz Jet was powered by a choice of engines, most commonly the mighty 317 cubic inch V8 from Lincoln or the Cadillac's 331 cubic inch V8, delivering horsepower that ranged from 160 to 210. With a 3-speed automatic transmission, it could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 10 seconds, a remarkable feat for its time. The exhilaration of that power as it surged beneath your foot, propelling you down the road, was something that stayed with you long after you'd parked. But to truly understand the Muntz Jet, we must delve deeper into the America that created it. This was a time when the country was recovering from war, filled with hope and a thirst for adventure. The highways were being paved and families were embracing the joys of cruising. Drive-in theaters were the place to be, and every mile was a chance to create lasting memories. The Muntz Jet was more than just a car. It was a part of that spirit, a reflection of an era when dreams were big and the open road felt limitless. Join me as we travel back to those days to meet the dreamers in Detroit who brought this iconic car to life. In the heart of Detroit, a city that breathed life into the American automobile dream, there was a competitive spirit that crackled like electricity in the air. The post-war years were a time of burgeoning innovation, with companies like Ford, General Motors, and Chrysler vying for supremacy on the asphalt jungles and open highways that crisscrossed the nation. It was a vibrant era where the clang of metal and the roar of engines harmonized with the dreams of countless dreamers who were determined to transform the automotive landscape. Among those dreamers was a man known as Earl "Madman" Muntz, a figure as colorful as the cars he sought to create. Muntz was no ordinary businessman. He was a visionary with a flair for the dramatic. His background as a television and electronics retailer gave him a distinct edge in marketing, and he was not afraid to push boundaries. In 1950, he founded the Muntz Car Company, driven by a desire to build a vehicle that was not just a mode of transportation, but a symbol of luxury and freedom. With the guidance of Frank Curtis, a talented designer who had already made waves in the automotive world with his Curtis sport car, Muntz aimed to create something extraordinary. Curtis, an innovator in his own right, was known for his sleek lines and aerodynamic designs, capturing the essence of speed and elegance. Together, they represented a new breed of automotive pioneers, unafraid to challenge the status quo. As the big three automakers dominated the market with their powerful machines, the atmosphere in Detroit was electric. Engineers and designers were driven by a fierce rivalry that pushed them to dream bigger and bolder. The air was thick with the scent of gasoline and ambition as men and women gathered around drafting tables, sketching out concepts that would one day roll off assembly lines and onto the streets. It was a time when every detail mattered, from the curve of a fender to the sound of a door closing with a satisfying thud. In the shadows of the towering factories, the spirit of camaraderie and competition thrived. Workers in grease-stained coveralls shared stories of their families, their hopes, and their aspirations for the future, each one contributing to a legacy that would define a generation. The joy of driving was not just a pastime. It was an integral part of American life, and every new model was a chance to capture that exhilaration. Earl Muntz and Frank Curtis were not just building cars. They were crafting an experience. They were part of a cultural wave that celebrated speed, style, and the open road. As they rolled up their sleeves in the pursuit of automotive excellence, they were fueled by the same dreams that drove countless others in Detroit. Each car that emerged from the assembly line was a testament to the ingenuity and spirit of the American people, and it was within this vibrant atmosphere of creativity and competition that the foundation for something truly remarkable was laid. The Muntz Jet was not just a vehicle. It was a manifestation of a dream that resonated with the aspirations of an entire nation. As the 1950s dawned, America found itself in the throes of profound transformation. The echoes of World War II were fading, replaced by a vibrant optimism that swept across the nation like a warm summer breeze. Families were settling into their homes, new neighborhoods blossomed with life, and the streets were soon to be filled with the unmistakable sound of roaring engines and the laughter of children playing. It was a time when the American spirit was ignited, fueled by the allure of progress and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. In this cultural landscape, music became the heartbeat of a generation. Rock and roll was on the rise, with the likes of Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry capturing the hearts of the young and the restless. Dance halls and sock hops thrummed with energy, and the radio waves crackled with the excitement of a new sound that boldly declared freedom and rebellion. The youth of America were hungry for more than just entertainment. They craved experiences that would take them places, both literally and figuratively. They wanted a car that reflected their dreams, a vessel that promised adventure and independence, something that could take them to the drive-in theater for a late-night flick or down the highway for a weekend getaway with friends. Amidst this burgeoning culture of freedom and exploration, the Muntz Jet emerged as the answer to their unspoken desires. With its sleek lines and innovative design, it wasn't just a car, it was a statement. A removable fiberglass top allowed for the wind to tousle your hair as you cruised along, embodying the very essence of joy and liberation that the young sought. It was a vehicle that whispered promises of youth and adventure, perfectly in tune with the aspirations of a generation eager to shake off the remnants of the past. This was also the era of the space race, where the skies seemed to beckon with possibility. Americans watched in awe as satellites began to orbit the Earth, and the dream of reaching the stars became a tangible reality. The Muntz Jet, with its aircraft-inspired dashboard and luxurious interior, mirrored this ambition. It was a celebration of modernity, a reflection of the era's belief that anything was possible, that the sky wasn't the limit but merely the beginning. So, as young couples slid into the plush seats of a Muntz Jet, they weren't just getting behind the wheel of a car, they were stepping into a dream that echoed the ideals of innovation, style, and the exhilarating promise of the open road. It was a vehicle designed not just for transportation, but for living, laughing, and loving life to its fullest. The Muntz Jet was, in every sense, a reflection of an America in transition, a car that embodied the hopes and ambitions of a nation ready to take flight. As we slide behind the wheel of the 1952 Muntz Jet, the heart of this magnificent machine beckons us to explore its soul. Under that long, sweeping hood lies a masterpiece of engineering, a testament to the bold spirit of its creator, Earl "Madman" Muntz. If you were around back then, you'll remember the thrill of a car that didn't just whisper but roared with authority. The Muntz Jet was most commonly equipped with either a Lincoln or Cadillac V8 engine. And let me tell you, these were not just any engines. They were a declaration of power and performance, capturing the essence of the American dream in every rev. Imagine the moment you turn the key and hear that engine spring to life, an exhilarating growl that sends shivers down your spine. The Lincoln engine, with its 317 cubic inches of raw power, offered approximately 160 horsepower, while the Cadillac's 331 cubic inches cranked it up to 210 horsepower. This was the kind of power that made your heart race, the kind that connected you to the very fabric of American car culture in the post-war era. It was a time when the automobile was more than a means of getting from point A to point B. It was a gateway to adventure, a symbol of independence, and a way to express one's individuality. When you pressed down on that accelerator, the Muntz Jet surged forward, the world outside blurring as the speedometer danced toward 60 miles per hour in about 10 seconds. You felt that power in your chest, a visceral connection that made the mundane feel extraordinary. The smooth glide of the 3-speed automatic hydromatic transmission allowed for effortless shifts, propelling you down the open road, wind in your hair, music from the radio filling the air, perhaps a little Elvis or Chuck Berry, the soundtrack of freedom. And let's not forget about the sound. The unmistakable roar of that V8 engine was a symphony of American ingenuity, a melody that resonated with every car lover's heart. It was a sound that meant business, a sound that turned heads and opened doors. Cruising down the boulevard, the Muntz Jet didn't just command attention, it demanded respect. It was a bold statement, an embodiment of the confidence that defined the era. In a time when American cars were growing larger and more powerful, the Muntz Jet stood out with its spirited performance and luxurious design. It was a car built for those who wanted to be noticed, for those who believed that life should be lived in the fast lane. The Jet was not just about speed, it was about style, a perfect fusion of power and design that captured the hearts of a generation. This was a vehicle that celebrated the open road, the thrill of the ride, and the promise of adventure, an icon that would leave an indelible mark on the landscape of American automotive history. As we slide into the world of the 1952 Muntz Jet, we find ourselves enveloped in the artistry of its design, the brainchild of the visionary Earl Madman Muntz and the talented Frank Curtis. If you were around back then, you couldn't help but be captivated by its sweeping lines and aerodynamic profile. The Muntz Jet was more than just a car. It was a statement, a declaration of independence and a bold assertion of American ingenuity. Imagine for a moment the thrill of stepping into the Jet. As you open the door, you are greeted by an interior that feels more like a luxurious lounge than a mere automobile. The dashboard, inspired by the elegance of aircraft design, wraps around you like a cockpit, adorned with gleaming dials and plush upholstery that beckons you to take the wheel. When you slide into the driver's seat, you can feel the weight of history and innovation beneath you. The leather is soft, inviting, and the moment you grasp that steering wheel, a wave of pride washes over you. You know you're in something special, something that speaks to the very essence of freedom. Looking out over that long hood, with the sun glinting off the polished chrome, you can't help but feel like the king of the road. The Muntz Jet's silhouette is striking with its unique removable fiberglass top, a precursor to the later T-top designs that allows you to embrace the open air. You feel the world around you come alive as you cruise down the boulevard, the wind tousling your hair, the engine's deep growl resonating like a heartbeat beneath you. The experience is transformative. It's not just driving, it's an adventure. You're not merely a passenger in this vehicle. You are the captain of your destiny, navigating through life with a sense of purpose and style. Whether you're headed to a drive-in theater to catch the latest flick or cruising to the local diner for a bite, every moment behind the wheel of a Muntz Jet becomes a cherished memory. The design of the Jet wasn't just about aesthetics. It was about crafting an experience, one that resonated with the spirit of the post-war era, a time when Americans were eager to embrace freedom, individuality, and the open road. The Muntz Jet, with its powerful V8 engine options and luxurious features, encapsulated that yearning. It was a car that made you feel proud, a symbol of the dreams and aspirations of a generation hungry for adventure. And as you navigate the roads, the Muntz Jet doesn't just take you places, it elevates you, transporting you back to a time when the journey was as exhilarating as the destination. As the sun rose over the American landscape in the early 1950s, a new contender was about to make its mark on the asphalt canvas of our highways. The Muntz Jet, with its sleek lines and daring spirit, was launched onto the streets in 1952, capturing the imagination of car enthusiasts and everyday drivers alike. Picture this: the roar of the engine, the wind in your hair, and the thrill of being behind the wheel of a car that felt more like a piece of art than just a means of transportation. With its bold presence, the Jet was ready to take on the Titans of Detroit, those legendary names that had become synonymous with American automotive excellence. Now, if you were cruising down the boulevard back then, you'd likely find yourself alongside the likes of the Cadillac Series 62 or the Lincoln Cosmopolitan. These were not just cars, they were symbols of status and luxury, flaunting their chrome and grandeur like peacocks strutting in the sun. The Muntz Jet, by contrast, was a rebellious upstart, embodying a spirit of innovation and individuality that appealed to those who sought something different. Where Cadillacs and Lincolns exuded elegance, the Jet exuded excitement, a promise of adventure with every turn of the key. Under the long, sweeping hood of the Muntz Jet lay a powerful engine, either a 317 cubic inch V8 from Lincoln or a Cadillac's 331 cubic inch V8. This was a machine that could deliver around 210 horsepower, giving it the muscle to stand toe-to-toe against its more established rivals. Imagine the thrill of pulling up to a stoplight, glancing over at the polished chrome of a Cadillac, and feeling that rush of adrenaline as the light turned green. With a 0 to 60 time hovering around 10 seconds, the Jet was not to be underestimated. It was a car that could leave its competition in the dust, all while turning heads and sparking conversations. The Jet's unique features, like the removable fiberglass top, set it apart in a market that often leaned heavily on tradition. While other cars offered luxurious interiors, the Muntz Jet presented an aircraft-inspired dashboard that was as innovative as it was beautiful. This was a car designed for dreamers and doers, for those who wanted to break free from the mold and experience the open road in a way that felt personal and exhilarating. And yet, despite its ambitious spirit and cutting-edge design, the Muntz Jet faced challenges in a landscape dominated by giants. High production costs and the fierce competition from well-established brands made it a tough battle for Earl "Madman" Muntz and his crew. But for those lucky enough to own a Jet, it was more than just a car. It was a lifestyle, a statement, and a piece of American history that represented the freedom of the open road. As the Jet zoomed down the streets, it didn't just compete with other luxury vehicles, it carved out its own legacy, reminding us all that sometimes it's the underdog that truly captures the spirit of the times. As the Muntz Jet rolled off the assembly line, it did more than just join the ranks of American automobiles, it etched itself into the cultural tapestry of the time. If you were around in those days, you'd understand how this magnificent machine wasn't just a car, it was a statement, a symbol of aspiration and the pursuit of the extraordinary. With its sleek lines and innovative design, the Jet was more than just transportation. It was an experience, an audacious declaration of individuality that resonated with those who dared to dream. While it didn't grace the silver screen in the same iconic ways as its contemporaries, the Muntz Jet certainly made waves in the world of celebrity. It became a prized possession of notable figures like the dashing actor Clark Gable and the operatic tenor Mario Lanza, both of whom embodied the glamour and charm of mid-century America. Picture Gable with that signature smile sliding behind the wheel of a Jet, the sun glinting off its polished fiberglass. It was the kind of car that made you feel like a star, whether you were on the big screen or cruising down Main Street. The Jet also captured the imagination of the public through its intriguing backstory. Earl "Madman" Muntz, the man behind the car, was known for his flamboyant marketing style that brought a touch of showmanship to the automotive world. He painted the Muntz Jet as a luxurious escape, a car that could take you on adventures, whether it was a Sunday drive through the countryside or a night out at the drive-in theater where the latest blockbuster flicks played like magic under the stars. In those simpler times, the Jet became synonymous with freedom and the open road, a vessel for dreams and memories. Moreover, the Jet's innovative features, like its removable fiberglass top, created an allure that captivated enthusiasts and collectors alike. It wasn't just a car, it was a canvas for the imagination, a precursor to future designs that would continue to push the boundaries of what an automobile could be. Those who owned a Muntz Jet often found themselves at the center of attention, turning heads and sparking conversations wherever they went. Even as the automobile industry evolved, the spirit of the Muntz Jet lived on, reminding us of a time when luxury and performance were intertwined with the very essence of what it meant to be American. It stands as a testament to a bold era of innovation, where cars were not only built for speed, but also to capture the hearts of a generation yearning for adventure. Today, the Muntz Jet is not just a rare collectible. It's a cherished piece of history, a vehicle that reflects the dreams and desires of those who dared to live life on their own terms. As we draw the curtain on our journey through the story of the 1952 Muntz Jet, it becomes clear that this magnificent automobile is much more than just a collection of metal and rubber. Today, the Muntz Jet stands as a tangible reminder of a time when innovation and individuality reigned supreme in the American automotive landscape. In an era defined by the pursuit of the extraordinary, this car captured the hearts of those who dared to dream big. It was a symbol of freedom, of cruising down sun-drenched highways, the wind in your hair, and the world at your fingertips. Although only a handful of these stunning machines were ever produced, each one carried with it the essence of post-war optimism. For collectors today, a Muntz Jet is not just a rare find, it is a piece of history that embodies the audacity of its creator, Earl "Madman" Muntz, who dared to disrupt the status quo. The Muntz Jet has become a coveted collectible, fetching impressive sums at auctions, a testament to its desirability and the passion of those who appreciate the artistry and engineering that went into its creation. But its true value transcends mere monetary worth. For many, the Muntz Jet symbolizes a bygone era, a time when cars were not just a means of transportation, but a reflection of one's identity and aspirations. It brings to mind the joyous sounds of rock and roll blaring from the radio, the laughter echoing through drive-in theaters, and the camaraderie of friends cruising under the neon lights of diner signs. It represents an age when American ingenuity and spirit were at their peak, and the open road was a canvas for dreams yet to be painted. To those who remember the Muntz Jet, it serves as a reminder of the boldness of youth, the thrill of adventure, and the courage to stand out in a world that often encourages conformity. Each curve of its body tells a story of ambition and artistic flair, echoing the voices of those who lived life unapologetically. As we look back with fondness, let us celebrate the Muntz Jet not just as a car, but as an enduring symbol of the American dream, a dream that continues to inspire generations to embrace their uniqueness and chase the horizon. In the end, it's more than a classic car. It's a legacy of freedom and a call to live life on our own terms. If this story brought back some good memories, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button. It truly helps us keep these legends alive. But more importantly, I want to hear from you. Please leave a comment and tell us your story. Did you or your family own one of these? What was your first car? I read every single comment, and your memories are what make this community so special. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you for the next one.